Good day everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. And for today's tutorial, we're going to learn about how to design a fresh mangoes poster on Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to teach you how to design this from scratch. Great. So when you open your bridge in Adobe Photoshop, the first thing that you do is that you're going to click on new file. You're just going to click on new file, and then when this one pops up, you're going to enter the name. As always, you'll be using a 5x5 inches dimension for our past tutorials. For the past 2 or 3 tutorials, that has been our dimension, so we're going to maintain that. And then I'm going to rename this to fresh mangoes poster, and then our resolution is 300, and our color code is RGB. Our background content is going to be set to transparent. The last time someone asked me in the comment section, why do we always set our background content to transparent? And I'm trying to explain to the person that we do not want to set our background to a solid color that is white or any other thing, because when you set your background color to a solid color, what happens is that it becomes locked at the end of the day. Okay, so when we go ahead and we will not color manage. When we go ahead and we create our file, if it was to be a solid color, let me show you guys right now. If we should use a solid color instead of transparent, what we see is that the background becomes locked, and so we can't do anything with it. It becomes virtually useless. Okay, at the end of the day, it becomes useless. But then if we choose to go with a transparent background, we can choose to fill this one with a solid color, and then it doesn't become useless again. Okay, good. Now let's continue with our video. So for the first thing that we will do is that we'll bring in our first image, which is this one, and you would see that as soon as the image loads up in our canvas, as soon as the image comes up in our canvas, you will see that the transparent background vanishes, and then it becomes converted to this one, to the image that we brought in. You see, so is it one of the reasons why you actually use a transparent background? Great. So we position it very well. Good. And then we place it very well. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to duplicate this layer. So we press Ctrl J on our keyboard to duplicate. And for the duplicated layer, you're going to cut this part out. Okay, we want to place our mangoes on this stage, and we want to blur the rest. So we can use our pen tool for this, but I usually like my rectangular marquee tool to do this, and then I mask it out. So after masking it, I was realized that now I have only this one, and then I have this. Great. So since I have this one, I can go ahead and then just blur this one. So I go to filter, I go to blur, I go to catch and blur, and then I'm going to increase my blur to about 8. Okay, 8.4 is okay. Good, maybe 7.7 will do, and then I press OK. Good. And after I do that, on top of this layer, I'm going to create a solid color. Okay, but for the solid color I'm going to use attached to the link in the description, you see these files, and then for these files there is a txt file attached. Okay, so I'm going to open my txt file in Notepad, and I'm going to use this solid color. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy this, and then for my solid color I'm going to use this color. So I go to solid color, and then over here I press Ctrl V on my keyboard to paste it. Great. After I paste it, the opacity for this one is too much, so I'm going to reduce my opacity to about 30%. Great. So let's see the before after. Very good. Good. Now after it has come this way, we can bring in our real elements, that is our mango. Okay, so we can bring in our mango at this point. So we go into our file, we're bringing the mango. Now then we bring it down a bit. We bring it down a bit and make sure that we place it very well. Great. So here we can go ahead and then polish up this image to increase the quality and the texture and the contrast and all. but usually I don't like to do that right at the beginning. I would want to bring in all my elements first before I do any edit. Okay, if you've been watching our tutorial, you'd see that I'm the kind of person who would want to arrange all my layers very well before I do any kind of edits. So I'll bring in this leaf, then I'll scale it down, and then I'll right click, and then I'll choose flip horizontal, and we'll place it at this point. Let's rotate it slightly. Great. Let's increase the size a bit, and then rotate it slightly. Great. Then we can go ahead and bring this one to then place this one in the corner. You have to reduce the size and place it nicely in the corner. Great. And then we can go ahead and group all these layers. So I press my shift key, I press the last key, and then I press Ctrl J on my keyboard, and then I double click, and then I right type the new name. So this would be my DJ on my background. Great. Now after I've done my background, let me go ahead and then just do the editing of this picture. Okay, so this is already a smart object, as you can see from here. So we can just go into filter, and then we'll go into camera raw filter. When we go into camera raw filter, then it will allow us to do any kind of editing that we would want to do. Okay, so I would want to sharpen my image to about 31. I think 31 is fine. After I sharpen my image, I'm going to go into basic, go into texture. So for my texture, I'm going to reduce the texture to about minus 28 will do, and then I'm going to increase the clarity to about 21. I think 21 will do, and then I think I'm not going to really do anything again. Let me just adjust my vibrance. You know, it's a fruit as a mango. We want people to see it and then feel like they want to purchase it. So we can just increase our vibrance to 9, and then we could increase our saturation to 5. Great. At this point, I don't want to do any other edits again, so I just press OK. Good. So now we can see our before, after. Great. So now our mango looks better than it was before. But another thing we could actually do here is to create a shadow of the mango. You see, the mango is lying on a table, so we have to assume that the mango is casting a shadow. So to do our shadow, we're going to duplicate this one, Ctrl J, and then bring this one be underneath it, and then we can convert this to a smart object by pressing I've created a shortcut for doing a smart object on my PC. Okay, so I press Ctrl dot to convert to smart object, but if you don't have that shortcut, just right click and then choose convert to smart object. Okay, I find it to be very long, so I created my own shortcut. If you want me to teach you how to create your own shortcuts in Adobe Photoshop, just comment shortcut. Okay, comment shortcuts in the comment section, and then I'll create a video on that for you. Very good. So after I do that, I'm going to right click over here and go to blending option. You can right click and go to blending option, or the shortest way you can do that is that anywhere here, okay, on this side, on the stream end, just double click on that side, and then your pop-up for blending options come in. Okay, so for this I'm going to do color overlay, and then the color we're going to use here is pure black. Great. So we press OK, and then for this one we press Ctrl T on our keyboard, and then we drag it down a bit to see something. Great, it's there. So you don't want to expand it too much in all directions. So what we'll do is that we just want to expand one side. You can use your shift key on the keyboard to do that. Okay, and we want to make sure that we place it right underneath it, so that we don't want the shadow to look weird. If it looks too weird, it won't be nice. Okay, good. So you should do anything that you can to make sure that your shadow doesn't look weird. Yeah, so I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that it doesn't look weird. Great, I think I like it like this. Oh, some parts of the shadows are messing up with us. Very good, I think it's okay like this. So with this one, let's reduce opacity to about 65 would do. And then to make the blur, to make the shadow look nice, we're going to introduce a blur. So we go to filter, we go to Gaussian blur. This time around, our blur is too much. Let's reduce it to about let's increase our blur to 21. Good. It looks better like this. Good. Now I'm using my arrow key to move my shadows so that it looks better. And then let me expand my shadow a bit. Since I've blurred it, I can expand my shadow and it won't look weird. Great. It's better now. Let's now reduce the opacity a bit. You know, designing isn't a one-off thing that you do. You have to go through a lot of processes, editing, to make sure that it suits what you really want to see. Okay, if your design doesn't suit what you really want to see, then you're not going to like your design. So at this point, I can see I'm done with my background. I need a price tag, so I'm going to put a price tag on the mango. So for that, let me just create a new group and then I'll call this one price. What did I just do? I'm going to call this group price. Great. So for this price group, I'm going to draw a shape by using one of the custom shapes. Okay, I have it pre-selected here, but I'm going to show you how I got this custom shape. I'm going to press this arrow key down here, and then when you do that, you go to your legacy shape. For your legacy shape, you're going to choose the all legacy shapes, all legacy default shapes. I hope you have that too in your Photoshop, because this one comes with when you install Photoshop fresh on your PC. So for your all legacy default shapes, you're going to go to shapes. When you go to shapes, you see it over there. Okay, so it's just here. It's beside the star. Good. So I'm going to draw my shape, but I want my shape to draw perfectly, so I hold my shift key to draw my shape very well. Okay, but for the color of this one, I want pure yellow. I have my pure yellow here, but if you are not able to pick your pure yellow, make sure that you move your hue and saturation selector, and then you choose the extreme yellow. Okay, extreme yellow on the end, and you press OK. Good. We want to make sure that it's not so big for this shape. So I think it's okay like this. Good. Now we want to include our price tag. So for the fonts that we'll use, we're going to introduce a text. The font is not Cooper Black, but the font we actually use is the Arcade. Okay, so we copy our font, then we'll come here and then we paste it. Okay, good. My PC is behaving kind of slow, but we'll work with it, don't worry. Good. What kind of text has it selected? It's a vertical text tool I'm using, so good. You have to make sure that the color is set to the green that we used before. So this green. Okay, and then you're just going to type $10. I'm sorry if you can't see it for now, but as soon as I move it here, you're going to see the price very well. And then you increase the size. Make sure that this one, the spacing isn't so much. We don't want the spacing to be too much, so we can reduce our spacing to -75. Good, -75 will do. Good, but let's rotate the text to add some style to it. Okay, good. Now this whole thing is looking too big. We want the focus to be in our fruit. We don't want someone to see our design and the first thing the person is looking at is the price. No, we want the person to see the beauty of our poster. okay? And for the person to see the beauty of our poster, we should let the person focus on the fruit first before the person focuses on the price tag. Good. So at this point, I think you're done with this one, with adding the price tag. So we can go on and then just add the details. I mean, the location, where can you buy these mangoes? And for that, we can just go ahead and then create a folder. You can create a folder at this point, and we'll call this folder locations. So for our locations, we're going to create a rectangle, okay? So we're going to use a rectangle, and the color you're using is the same color we used when we were doing the BG, okay? If you didn't copy the color code, this is a color code. Good. Then we'll go ahead inside of our locations, we'll go ahead and then we'll draw a rectangle. And for this rectangle, the border radius should be so much. You have to work on the color. You have to work on the color. And then make sure that we position this thing in the center. It's too big, it's too big. Let's reduce the size. Good. Good. Then you have to reduce the opacity of this one. You reduce the opacity to about 61 will do. And then you add some blur. So filter blur, Gaussian blur. You are not willing to convert it to a smart object just yet. The border radius is too big. So I would want to reduce my border radius before I do anything else. Anytime you want to do Gaussian blur, you're supposed to convert to a smart object or rasterize. So this time around, you're going to use a radius of 2. Yes, this will do. Great. So at this point, we're going to put another rectangle underneath it, but we're going to use the pure color yellow to do it this time around, okay? So put a rectangle underneath it, which is pure yellow. So this one is going to be the call to action. So our call to action is order now. The color isn't what I want. So it's the same archetype, but the color I want to use is the green. So I do this and then I type my texts. Order now. Then I bring it this one here. Since I have my spelling wrong, if you see that this thing is, the rectangle here is too big, we can always reduce it. But remember, this is your call to action. Anytime someone sees your flyer, the person is supposed to be drawn to the call to action. So you're supposed to do everything that you can to draw people to the call to action. Yes, that is for you as a graphic designer. If you're working with a client, the client wants to see that at the end of the day, the design you did for them is bringing in more clients. So call to action is very important for your design. Anytime you're designing, make sure that your call to action is very clear, and make sure that your focus, the focus of those who are reading your design, is on the call to action. Okay, good. So this one, I'm going to just fill in the details about the locations. Okay, I'm going to fast forward this part of the video, but then you could always slow the video down and then you do that. Okay, good. And then you type in one by one, so I'll make sure all the text here, they are white. The most difficult part of design is filling in the tiny details, and those are the very important things. And if you don't make it to be nice, at the end of the day, your whole design is going to look weird. Okay, so that's that. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and then work on the header. Now you're selling fresh mangoes, so when the customer sees the image or the picture, the next thing the person wants to see is the header. Some people may not know what it is, and they would just want to look at the header. So we're just going to create a group and then we'll call this header. So it is for this header that's for our text. We will use the copper black text. So I paste it copper black, and for our first layer of text, we're going to create 3 layers of text over here. So we'll see very soon what I'm talking about. So for this one, let me type in fresh. Let me zoom out so that it becomes very clear. Fresh. Then I expand it. If you see that the text is too big, you can decrease it. Okay, it's all up to you what size you want your text to be. And then I'm going to duplicate the text by using Ctrl J, or you can alt click and then you drag. Press the alt key, click, and then you drag. Good. So I want these 2 texts to be centered in the center. Good. Then we make sure that it's in the middle. It's not placing so much in the middle. Let's work on everything about this text today. We'll work on the rest. Good. So this is the first thing about this text. Good. But you can manually also place your text. Okay, it's not every day that you use the center align to align your text. Sometimes you don't want to center align your texts. Sometimes you want the text to look a certain way. I don't want my M to overlap with the F. That is why I do like this. So design is not always about alignment. Design can be about anything that will make the whole thing look nice for you. So I'm going to duplicate this group of text, the fresh and the mangoes. I press Ctrl J to do it just once, and then this time around for the color I'm going to use is the green, but not the deep green, a lighter version of the green. So like this one, and then I bring it underneath this one, and then I convert these two to smart objects. Okay, convert to a smart object. Then I use my arrow keys. I use my arrow keys to kind of shift them slightly. You see what I did there? So good. So it's like a drop shadow. I'm doing the drop shadow. I don't want to use the blending options and the drop shadow options. This time around, I'm using a different approach to do my drop shadow. Good. So we'll create another one. Ctrl J. We change the color to the deeper version of the green, and then we bring this to the down, and then we convert this one to a smart object. When we convert to a smart object, then we use our arrow keys to position it very well. So at the end of the day, one thing, I just realized something right now. The spacing between the texts is a bit too small. You can always do it to make your spacing as big as you want. Okay, but mine has already been done, and at this point I don't want to do any other corrections again. Okay, but you can always work on that. Okay, to increase the spacing between your texts. But I want to leave mine like this. So at the end of the day, this is how everything looks. So now with the header, we can go ahead and then now good. We've rightly placed it in the center, and then we're going to expand it. Oh, something is wrong. This thing wasn't inside of it. I press Ctrl Y on my keyboard, so there was this color. You see that when you press Ctrl Y on your keyboard, the colors on your PC just changes. Okay, so you have to watch that. I think it changes from RBG to something else, to I think CMYK or something like that here. So make sure that you don't just press any keys like that. And then with that would be it. Now if you feel like this thing is too off, that's you wish, you know, it was a bit shifted to the right, you can always do that. Okay, you are wondering how the layers underneath to, you can manipulate it for it to shift to the right. If you, the thing I did here was that I tapped on the fresh and then I tap on the left arrow key twice. So that's what I did. Okay. Yeah, something is up. Something is up. Oh. In designing, something might always go wrong at the very end, but you have to sit down and figure out, you know, what is actually going wrong. Why is my design? Why is this thing not popping out like I want it to be? And you have to sit down and figure things out. So I press my left arrow key 5 times. So when I come here on the fresh 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I save it before I close it. Then I come to the last layer. I double click it because it's a smart object. I can do all these kind of edits. If you don't convert to a smart object and you rasterize it, you can do this kind of edit at the end of the day if you do anything to it. So I press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I save it before I close it. Then at the end of the day, you see that now everything is looking neat. Great. Now the final thing I will do is that I'm going to expand this one. You know, it's the header. So anytime someone sees your flyer, the person looks at the picture on the flyer, then the person looks at the header. You know, it's part of design principles that your header should always catch the attention. If someone sees your flyer and the person is scrolling on social media, at least the person should be able to remember that I saw a fresh mangoes poster. That's one of the key things in design. Then the last thing I'll do is that I'll add the contacts. So for the contact, the front I'll use is Montserrat. I'll use Montserrat. So the color is going to be white. The font is going to be Montserrat. The Montserrat version I'll use it. Let me try out bold. And then let me type in the contact. Great. And if it is a WhatsApp number, you just have to include the WhatsApp icon to it. Okay, it's not part of the header. It's not part of the header. It's going to be outside of the header. Great. So if it's a WhatsApp number, you have the WhatsApp icon to it, and then that is that. You are done with our flyer. That is how we designed fresh mangoes fruit poster in Adobe Photoshop. I hope you like this video, and I want you to do something for me. Please share this video with your friends, share it on TikTok, share it everywhere on social media, and then just tag me. Okay, everywhere on social media is busy dev graphics. You can just tag me anywhere on social media.